Hey everybody, Jeff Marr with Elizabeth School District. Joining me is Superintendent Dan Snowberger. Dan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
And this is another Superintendent Monthly Update where we take a look at some of the highlights over the past month and we look ahead to the next month. And so we're going to be taking a look at September and October as well. And the first thing that we want to talk about, and this was addressed at the board meeting this week and something that you've put out a lot of communication about, is fiscal exigency, which also means fiscal emergency. And you've had to make some tough decisions.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you've also had to address some of the misinformation that's out there relating to this topic. So if you wanted to cover that right away.
Absolutely. Fiscal exigency is really just a matter of calling it fiscal responsibility. As a district, just like with all of us who manage our own personal budgets, it's a matter of recognizing that your revenue is not on track with your expenses. And so this district has operated on a very razor thin margin for a long, long time. And part of our board's goal and my goal since arriving here in Elizabeth has been to build a fund balance, because the reality is there will come a time in the state where our budget will be cut. That the state of Colorado has balanced the state budget on the back of education in the past, and unfortunately, I'm not sure that won't occur again in the future. And so we want to make sure that we build a reserve here in Elizabeth so that if that were to occur again, we wouldn't have to make massive cuts in teachers and raising class sizes and losing programs that are important to our kids. And so as we began this year, we had a number of unexpected expenses. We've had, unfortunately, not hit our enrollment targets that we were expected to hit this year. And so we recognized that we were spending more this year than we were going to see in revenue. And so fiscal exigency is a tool that the statute provides a school district to say, you have to cut some of your commitments to make sure that you operate within your budget. And so what we did was we said, we have to kind of pause for a moment and make sure that we're operating within our means. Exactly what you would do if your refrigerator went out at home and then buying a new refrigerator is not in your budget. You're going to have to make some adjustments, and that's what we've done. And so obviously, the board charged me on September 23rd to make about $500,000 cuts in our budget so that at the end of the year, we're operating within our means. That's not an easy thing. It's certainly not something that I enjoy doing. And when 80% of your budget is staff, unfortunately, that means you're going to have to make some change in some staffing. And so we took some time in really analyzing the positions within our district. We always look outside of our classrooms. We always look outside of our schools first. And so 68% of our cuts that we've made are outside of our classrooms. We wanted to make sure first that we found areas that we could trim. And let me be very clear, where we had to cut positions, where we had to unfortunately part with individuals who worked for our district, none of these individuals were in any way not valuable to our district. These were great people who were doing great things for our district, but unfortunately we had to part ways because we had to make sure we balanced the budget. Some of those were district positions, people who provided services. That means the people who remain, the district leaders, have to step up and do a little more work this year to make sure those jobs get done. The jobs didn't go away. The work didn't go away. We just have less people to do them. And then we did have some cuts at buildings. And in those situations, typically it was where we had very small class sizes. In one of our schools, we had to combine classes where we had 14 and 15 students in the classroom. We combined classes to make class sizes of 22, which is by all means not a very large class. In some of our neighboring districts, we have class sizes of 32 to 35. 22 children in a class here in Elizabeth is certainly a very reasonable class size. In another school, we had a long-term sub where we had very small class sizes. We were able to actually distribute those students into classes with licensed teachers and no longer maintain that sub, so we could again achieve some savings. And so about 32% of the cuts were in our schools that actually impacted students. But again, even those decisions were in the best interest of students. And so again, fiscal exigency sometimes sounds like, oh, panic, panic. There's alarms going off. No, it's just called being fiscally responsible. And my commitment to our community is I will be responsible in this community. I will make sure that our budget is balanced, and that we build the fund balance, because when we have a financial crisis, heaven forbid the state does once again turn to balancing the budget of this state on the back of our children in public education, we will ensure that this district has a fund balance to ensure that we don't cut valuable programs that our kids rely on to ensure that they're prepared for their future.
And you mentioned the panic, and one of the things that hasn't always been around that is around now is social media, and gossip and word tends to spread quickly, as do knee-jerk reactions and falsehoods. And that tends to be the case with almost every decision that comes from the school district. And what we're seeing with that is something that you wanted to address at the board meeting last night, which you did, and really addressing some of that misinformation, because it leads to fear, and based on that fear, people make some decisions.
Absolutely. I mean, we have been very clear in communicating with our leaders where we were looking at cuts. We've been very clear in communicating with employees whose jobs we were considering whether we needed to reduce. Unfortunately, the social media has led people to question whether that's true or whether there's more cuts coming. We had a teacher yesterday resign because of what they were reading on social media made them think there was more coming. And again, sadly, when there is speculation out there, when there are people on social media who are trying to spin things, sometimes it leads to greater fear and greater impact on children. So in that case, we have a great teacher leaving the district because of what they thought might be happening, because of speculation from individuals who thought they were armchair quarterbacking on social media. I'm going to always encourage people in the community. If you have a question, email me, call me. I've posted my number. I've posted my email out there. I'm happy to respond to anyone who you may be questioning. Hey, is this true? Is this something that you're thinking about? Again, we're trying to communicate very rapidly, as quickly as we can. There is an email coming out with this video that will outline all of the changes that have been made with this fiscal exigency, and we are finished. There are no more cuts coming due to this fiscal exigency. When this video is posted, we are completed in achieving those cuts that were necessary to balance our budget. And again, we are really proud of the work that our staff does here in this district to educate our children.
So transparency is a big deal for you, and open communication.
Absolutely.
And that leads us into highlighting one of the topics from September, and that was the Superintendent Forum, and you seem to have a really good response from that.
Absolutely, yeah. We had probably one of our largest attendances in our forums, and sadly it was only 10, but that probably more than doubled our largest forum that we've had. Folks, I encourage parents to come, and our forums are not long. These are not hours and hours of our just chatting, but again, my forums are not meant to be a dog and pony show where I'm trying to convince you or sell you Kool-Aid. I am really here to just talk. I want to hear what's on your mind. I want to hear what concerns you have or what thoughts or ideas you might have for our district. This is your district. This is my opportunity to hear what's on your mind and to talk through ideas or concerns that you might have. And the 10 folks who came last month brought some great ideas. One parent came to talk about dyslexia, and honestly, it led to introducing me to a resource here in the Castle Rock area. I actually had lunch with her last week, and actually leading to a potential great partnership that might bring some resources for children with dyslexia here into our district. And so when I think about those forums, great opportunity for us to, again, share ideas and talk about what's on your mind and how we can continue to make our district even better. Next forum is November 13th on Wednesday at 6 o'clock. It's here in the boardroom at 634 South Albert Street. And so again, parents, not a long meeting, just a chance to exchange ideas. I love getting to know our parents, love getting to know what's on your mind, and hope that you will join me again Wednesday, November 13th here in the boardroom.
And I'll be putting out more communications and reminders as that date approaches, and we definitely want to see a good crowd for that, because you never know what that conversation is going to result in, as you mentioned. So we definitely welcome you to that. The other highlight that we wanted to talk to you about is the fact that the first phase of the EHS auto building is complete, and that's a big first step.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're so excited about this auto building. Not every child wants to go to college. Some children really are looking to be able to to gain a skill while they're in high school and to be able to go out into the workforce and earn a great living. And auto mechanics is certainly a huge skill today. It's a very technical skill. So students who are going into the world of auto mechanics are no longer just emptying, dropping oil and changing oil, but the computer diagnostics involved. It is a six-figure job nowadays. And so we're excited about the auto shop. 1 in 5 students in Elizabeth High School are interested in auto mechanics right now. And so our auto shop building, phase one, has come to a close. We started our fundraising effort in August. We've raised, right now we have up to $200,000 in pledges, quickly gathering and collecting the money behind those pledges. We have a final push on October 29th for an event called Cake, Cars, and Careers that will begin at 6 o'clock in the cafeteria at the high school. A chance for you to learn more about that auto program, to hear from our students and alumni about the impact of that auto program. Yes, we are looking for still some donors, but also for some contractors who want to help us get across the finish line. We have some new phases starting with electrical work being done within that building to get that building online before winter. Folks, our kids are working on cars right now out in the open. We want to get them in that auto shop. And while that building looks like it's standing and we can work in there until we get a certificate of occupancy and some of that work done inside, we can't have kids in that building. So please help us. Get that date on your calendar, October 29th, 6 o'clock at the high school. We'd love to have you come and join us for Cake, Cars, and Careers.
It's really an example of how the Elizabeth community really comes together, no matter what the project or need is.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm seeing
Absolutely.
as being fairly new to the school district.
Absolutely.
And it's really impressive how that's coming along.
It's amazing.
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
The other highlight that I know you weren't too happy to see was at the end of September, and that was our Director of Safety and Security, Jeremy Casey, who resigned here for another opportunity. But the good news with that is we have a great replacement in Tyler Rabideau, who's actually a local and former Elizabeth police officer.
Yeah, we were sad to see Jeremy go. Jeremy, a former Secret Service agent who brought us so far in our safety and security team. We have a full contingent of safety and security officers who were former law enforcement officers, former military, all highly trained, in our schools, deployed to protect our students, protect our staff. Tyler Rabideau has been our coordinator of safety and security, working to support our team, support not only our safety and security officers in our building, those who are armed and former police officers who have gone through very intensive training, but also lots of other intensive safety systems in our buildings, closed circuit TV, door sensors, buzzers to ensure access to the building is limited. But Tyler's been on our team now for 2 years, worked now with 2 of our directors, and has been a really key element to leading our team. And so when Jeremy stepped away, it was very clear who could continue to lead our team without missing a beat. And so we're excited to have Tyler take over as Director of Safety and Security. As you mentioned, Jeff, Tyler is a former Elizabeth police officer, very strongly endorsed by our local law enforcement leaders and our fire officials here in the Elizabeth community. So we're excited to welcome Tyler. He presented to the board this past week, and we'll also be speaking to our District Advisory Council here next month.
I'm very happy to have him and excited for that team. Now, moving into October, you already mentioned the Cake, Cars, and Careers event, but we also want to hit some other big events. And as of the moment that we're recording this, it is homecoming week. It's a huge week for the school district and for Elizabeth High School. I was just in the high school. It's completely decked out with a different theme every single day leading up to the big game Friday.
Yep. Homecoming is an important event. And while we focus on football, that's kind of the culminating game. There's games all week. So there's volleyball, there's There's soccer. There's games almost every night this week. So certainly, if you're looking for entertainment, you don't have to leave Elizabeth this week. Just go on the high school website and you'll find entertainment every night. Amazing athletes at that high school in all of our sports, and they're all competing throughout the week. Unfortunately, we just got word that there will be no fireworks this week and there will be no bonfire because of fire bans in our community. So that's a little bit of a downer, but still lots of festivities going on this week. This town really rallies around our high school, and we have a parade at 1 o'clock here through downtown Elizabeth. It will not go down Main Street this year due to, I believe, some construction occurring, but it will go down Banner Street. So again, if you're watching this before Friday, please do come out for the parade. It is always an exciting event. And on Friday, everyone's a Cardinal here in Elizabeth.
I can't wait to see it.
Yep.
Now, October is also a special month, not just because it's homecoming week, but it's also National Principals Month.
Yep.
And so that's one of the things that I'm doing is sitting down with all of our principals and assistant principals. I've convinced all of them to go on camera, which is great. So they're getting really comfortable with doing the interview format, because then we can learn more about them, their career track, how they became a principal or assistant principal. And I've already had some great conversations with these hardworking individuals that work late at night, stay up late at night, and do so much for their school because it's their passion.
Yep. Yeah, we are really lucky in this district to have not only great principals, but great assistant principals. And so these are individuals, yes, sometimes our kids only see them when maybe they get into trouble, but these are individuals who work so hard to support our teachers. They are instructional leaders, and that's one of the things we've really emphasized since I've arrived in our district. Our principals are not just disciplinarians. They're there to coach and guide and develop our teachers. They're there to ensure that we're delivering quality instruction, that our instructional program is preparing our kids for success. And so they have really big jobs in those roles. And so I'm excited that you're getting to highlight them and that our community is getting to know them more.
Yeah, so keep an eye out for those throughout the month of October. And before we go, we want to wish everybody, when the time comes, a happy and safe fall break.
Yep. Fall break's right around the corner, and I hope you will find some time to build some lasting memories with those special to you. And it's hard to believe that October is here. So just enjoy your fall break, and we'll look forward to catching up at the end of this month.
Thank you, Dan.
Thank you.
And be sure to follow us on social media for more content like this, and we will see you next time.